Yo, we got the chop saw safety, starting with chop saw parts. Right over there is a chop saw, sometimes called a miter saw. We'll see why here in a second. Up top, we got a handle. It's got a trigger on it. We're going to yank on that. Saw kicks up. When we bring it down, we chop through boards. So it's a chop saw. That's a blade guard right there. You don't got to do anything with it. You just pull it down. Blade guard gets out of the way. And then over here, there's something I was going to show you. I decided not to. This is a bevel lock. Most of you aren't going to do this, but that's what it is. It's a bevel lock so that we can change the bevel. That's our bevel scale right there. So we can see what angle we're at on the bevel. There's a little pieces all messed up over there. Skip that. All right, so after we're done, we're going to lock that back up to 0 degrees. So that's our bevel lock back there. Then next up, this is the fence right here on the back, right? So we push up against the fence. We'll be showing that later. This part's the table on top there. Call that our table. Oh yeah, look at that. Then up front, we've got a miter lock. So we lift up on that. There's a little trigger under this one because it drops into certain notches. We'll see that. So I dropped into a notch right now, 45 degrees, some of those popular ones. And then back to 0. Ooh, dropped into that notch again. And you see a couple right there. Those are certain notches that will drop into certain angles. This one dropped into 22.5, so you can make an octagon. Then we'll go back to 0 and make sure and lock it when we're done. Okay. This orange one's a little different. It's got a slide. So we're sliding back there. There's a slide lock. We're going to do that. And then it'll slide. And ooh, look at that action. That's nice. This is only for woods 2, 3, 4 people, not for woods 1. Lock it up when we're not using it, right? Right here again, we have another bevel scale. And so we can change the bevel on this one as well. Back here, this one's a little different. We still have a bevel lock, right? But there's a little safety catch on it, that one right there. So it won't go, right? So you got to loosen that one. It just pops out of the way. Now it dropped at an angle. I can adjust that later. Again, we got a miter lock, and this one you push on the button to get it out of the notches. And let's set this up for not a notched one, 30 degrees. And right now we have a compound cut because it's a miter and a bevel, right? So sometimes you call that a compound miter saw, compound chop saw. This trigger has a safety on it. Push that sideways so that you can pull it, right? Still got a blade guard, right? We got our fence, we got our table, got our miter scale, and back get this thing set up again. So we're going to pull up that miter lock, push our thumb in, slide. This one's not dropping in so well, so I got it to 0. Adjust our bevel lock again, right? We got to push that bevel safety again. And then we got the bevel scale again. And to review, we got a slide lock. So we can slide it. Hose popped out. Put that back later. And then lock that back up. Oh, chop saw parts. Round 2. We got important things to take care of. Safety glasses first, though. When using a chop saw, we need eye protection. Okay. Second, the name there, chop saw, miter saw. And then we're going to show you a good example and a bad example. Good example. Good pace. Look, the chip load going behind the saw. Okay, there was a good amount of sawdust. And clean up after yourself. Then let's take a look at a bad example. How not to do it. Watch the speed. Bam! No, don't do that, please. That is bad on the saw. Please do not do that. All right, now let's take a look at those cuts. The bottom one's clean, top one, bad. There's just tear out on it. You can see on the ends, there's just a bunch of pieces coming off. So that's going to be more sanding. It's going to be more work. Also, hey, check it out while we're here. Wood breaks along the grain. That was pretty easy. And I'm really strong. Take a look. How do we hold it? How far should my hand be? What kind of pressure do I put? So this is bad. Ooh, way too close. That is bad. Don't do that. Move that hand over there, right? So the semicircle is a guide for us. That's too close, right? Yeah, that's good. I like that. So get your board in position, and then we're going to be setting up correctly. So if we put this on here, the board should be against the fence because if we turn that blade, the bottom of it is moving backwards, right? And so as soon as that touches, it's going to kick back there, right? So rather than do that, Make sure anytime you put up a board, it's got to be against the fence. Second, we're going to push in, and we're also going to push down. Your boards sometimes have different shapes to them. They might be rounded in different ways. So we got to make sure we push towards the fence, push down towards the table before we make our cut. Ooh, look at that. That's beautiful. Nice job, Mr. Duffy. Is it okay to use your left hand? Yeah, just still the same rule applies. We don't want to be too close. We want to be in a good position. So leaf is one of the rules. Long edge against the fence. So I found a board as an example. So the long edge against the fence. Yeah, we're good to go there. That looks fine. Okay. This is not fine. The short edge is against the fence. It can grab, it can get pulled in like that. Plus, it's the wrong tool. So I'm going to run over to my table saw to show you the right tool. We're going to talk about it later. And it still uses a leaf. Long edges against the fence, right? And this is called ripping. So long edge against fence is a rule for the chop saw and the table saw. Next up, we got blade kerf. That is the width of the cut made by the blade. So we got a couple lines here. Oh, when you're cutting, you draw a line, right? And so where do I cut on it? Do I cut on the right, left, center? And then you can see here, should I cut on the right of the line? Should I cut on the middle of the line? Or should I cut on the left of the line? It just depends. Sometimes it's left on it, sometimes it's right, but that's the one that I used on this one, but never on the middle. The middle one doesn't make any sense because then it's not accurate at all. It's too sharp no matter what. So you just need to know which side of the board you're going to keep. Blade kerf, again, that's the width of the cut of the blade, right? Different terms we use, we got chopping, right? Chopping is when we're going against the grain. Cross cutting is also against the grain, right? So chopping on the chop saw. Crosscut, we could do that on the table saw as well, and we're going to use a miter gauge. The other one is rip, cut with the grain on the table saw. So we got chopping, cross-cutting, ripping, right? So cross-cutting could be done over there too, and then the last one, ripping table saw, right? So those are terms we use. Next up, we are setting a stop, right? And we do this when we have multiple boards that we want to be the same length. So I'm clamping the board down, and I would have a pencil mark. I'm just showing you how it works. And so we chop the board, and we leave the blade is moving, so we leave it down there because the board's caught in there. So then after the blade stops, we can pull that piece out. I could put my next board up to there. We wait again, and that's how you get two boards that are the same length. I measured once, I cut twice. If you need more, 3, 4, then you can just pump out a bunch of them. Another one, this is a dado, and we'll talk about that later. And we're going to do an angled cut on this, but the dado needs to be on the inside, so we got to set it up different. So I set it up at 45, and then my dado's on the inside, right? Make sure it's against the fence. And then I'm chopping, getting that angle on there, clearing my scraps out, and then we can cut it to the length at the opposite angle, right? And I'm going to stay at the bottom again because the blade is moving and the board is caught in between. This time, see, this cut is wrong. I want to clean that up. Dado needs to be on the inside, so I'm just cutting off a little piece right there, and then second, scraps away. We're going to go to the fence again and make another chop, right? Now wait for the blade to stop. Oh yeah, it was trapped in there. And then the important part when we do something like this is that the top and the bottom are matched, right? And that's how you can do it, by using a stop. And on this one, I can make it 90 degrees, right? 2 at 45 for a 90. Okay, and are we almost done? Almost. So the orange one and the yellow are different, and there's the two reasons: the slide and who's going to use it. So our Woods 1 is going to use the yellow one over there. I'm going to say that a couple times. Again, on the orange one, we got the slide. You open the slide lock, and then it'll slide. When you're done, lock it. Okay. Orange one is for Woods 2, 3, 4. You're good to go. Woods 1, you're over there. Go over to that one. Okay. So I think we hit it all. Wow, what a day. Good luck. See ya.